You're listening to Hardscape Growth, a podcast for hungry professionals who want to grow their businesses and level up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Hardscape Growth podcast. I'm your host, Alex from TechnoBlock, and today we're joined by Chad Kasten from Weller Brothers. Chad has been with Weller Brothers for 8 years as the senior landscape designer. He has 14 years of landscape design experience, so we're going to talk about some design stuff, but we're also going to talk about the culture at Weller Brothers, what this company has grown into over the last few years, and what are the things that they're doing well that make them so successful. They have two main locations, one in Rochester, Minnesota, the other one in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 7 construction crews, 8 maintenance crews, 1 enhancement crews. Chad, like I said, is a senior landscape designer. They have 2 associate designers. They have an intern designer. And Chad's got an assistant starting in just a couple of weeks, so that's pretty exciting for him. Welcome to the show, Chad from Weller Brothers.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, Chad, why don't you tell me a little bit about Weller Brothers outside of what I just said? Like, what's your experience with that company, and what do you have to say about them?
Yeah, Weller Brothers is pretty much trying to lead the innovation in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area, and now we're kind of, like you said, moved into the Rochester area. So we're trying to push the envelope on what people do in their backyards. South Dakota, everyone thinks cold, snowy, don't spend a lot of time outside, don't want to invest in swimming pools, outdoor patios, outdoor kitchens. And I would say that was kind of the case about 10, 12 years ago. But as our city's grown, we've really started to expand into those larger outdoor entertainment areas. So we have pretty much tried to say, you like to spend time inside, but when we do have those nice days outside, we really want to utilize those. We want to squeeze as much time enjoying with outdoors with family, friends, bringing people to your house instead of having to leave the house is kind of what we're really priding ourselves on. So creating those really cool outdoor areas, and not, the budget we always do keep in mind, but we do try to push that budget up to try to squeeze the coolest projects into the backyards. So
you're figuring out ways to add value for the customer.
Yes.
South Dakota, cold, snowy, sounds very much like where I live.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get the when it is nice, let's get outside. I don't want to be inside at all. That shift in the market, is that something that you feel that you guys have kind of driven, or did it happen, or how did it happen, I guess is the question.
Yeah, I mean, that's like what we've really prided ourselves on, was the idea that when we've got these really cool entertainment areas, it becomes a sanctuary for people to spend their time in. One of the best compliments I got from a customer was that they went on vacation. We had recently completed a big backyard renovation with a pool and patio and fire pit and all that. And they said after a few days on their vacation, they were actually ready just to get back home and spend time in their backyards. And I mean, that was probably the best compliment I've ever gotten on a design. So,
that's what you want, right? You're trying to kill that cottage culture.
Yeah.
Right? Kill that cottage culture and get people to spend time at home, invite people over to the house. You're not going out spending money on restaurants. You're not stuck in traffic for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours every week, just trying to get to your escape. All you got to do is go out the door. It's right there.
Yep, exactly. And then everybody else wants to come to your house. And what's better than that than having a party and getting everyone around to celebrate your sweet backyard.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things that you guys typically do in your projects? Like let's paint the picture of the typical Weller Brothers project. I've been looking on your website and I'm seeing like there's one example where you have like a fire pit and there's a putting green and a chipping green, and I even see a tee box. So I guess you're teeing off from the tee box onto the putting green, which is sick. You got a covered outdoor kitchen with a grill island and a bar, and you got a pool and a lounge area. Is that like the typical job?
I would say that's probably one of the higher end projects that we would do. No project's too small for us. We don't want people to feel like they can't call Weller Brothers because their project's not big enough. So I'll go out, we'll redo landscape beds around a house that need updating. But yeah, I would say a vast majority of the stuff that I work on, we're definitely doing paver patios. That is probably the number one thing that we install. We do a ton of paver patios. We don't do a ton of walls here in South Dakota because there's not a lot of slope.
Pretty flat. Yeah.
But we do get into quite a few retaining walls. Fire pits are just one of the hottest things out there right now, especially the gas
pun
fire
intended.
pits. Yeah, exactly. The old school wood burning is kind of, some people still like the ambiance of that and actually burning the wood, but the smell that gets on your clothes and all of that, it's really sweet now. When you have a remote, you can turn a fire pit on from your kitchen and you walk out and it's ready to do some s'mores. I would say artificial turf is getting more and more popular. The number one thing I think that I would say 80% of my customers say is I want low maintenance. Well, there's nothing more low maintenance than not having to mow your grass. Especially, we have a lot of pets out here. So in the wintertime, especially like in the spring, you come outside, your lawn's all patchy. It takes half the summer to get it looking good, where the artificial turf is green right away. So we've really gotten into that. We're dabbling into the putting greens. People around here love golf. So there's nothing better than be able to go out and work on your short game. Low voltage lighting is pretty much in almost every single project that we do. You got to be able to light that thing up at night. It's kind of, once people don't ever think, oh, I don't need lighting, until they see it. And then they're like, how did I live without this before? Outdoor sound systems. Yeah.
All the bells and whistles.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like when you think of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or you think about Rochester, Minnesota, these aren't typically associated with very wealthy communities. And certainly, like from an outside perspective, certainly not enough to support and sustain 7 construction crews.
Yeah.
So is it just that there's a handful of companies in your market, or you guys are just dominating?
There's actually quite a few companies in our market. I would say in Sioux Falls for sure, we're probably, if we're not the biggest, we are probably one of the top 2. There's a lot of competition, and so a lot of that competition, I would say that we're probably on the higher end as far as the expense of the projects go. I don't know if we're ever comparing complete apples to apples when I say that. But yeah, I would say Sioux Falls and Rochester, we really tried to pinpoint markets that had we have a really good healthcare system. So really good. We have a lot of doctors, a lot of the stuff that goes with hospitals. We have really good banking systems here. So we have lower regulations on a lot of our banking. So we do have a real big influx of that.
There's a little pocket of wealth.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly why we moved to Rochester as well. They got the Mayo Clinic. So it's kind of almost the same size as Sioux Falls. So we thought that would be, instead of trying to get into a really big city or something like that, or moving to a smaller town, we tried to get into a location that's kind of our sweet spot. And so we actually are looking at expanding to even like a 3rd location this fall. So that'll be exciting.
Really?
Yep.
Very cool. What is that experience like, expanding? Because just adding crews, it can be a big challenge for people. So adding locations is a whole other can of worms.
Yep. So what we did when I first started here is we started an estimating software. I started working with an estimating software, LMN, which we were able to really streamline our CRM. So we were able to track our customers. We were able to track estimates. We were able to see basically, they got really good scheduling. We have really good routing for all of our crews. So once we were able to get that pretty well dialed in, I think that's when we knew we were ready to make the move, because we had done it before. The other nice thing is a lot of our foremen have been here for a number of years. I mean, my landscape production manager, he's been here for 10 years and he started as a foreman. So as we train our guys and get them more familiar with running bigger projects and bigger crews, we're able to send those guys off and they hit the ground running. It's not like they're trying to learn something new right from the start. So, yeah.
Yeah. What I like about what you just said is the development of a system or systems that make it basically plug and play. Like if we know how to run the business, we know what we're looking for, we know what we need to do. After that, you need these components. This is how they work together. Take it, move it somewhere else.
Yep.
it's a lot more complex than just that, but that's the gist of it, right?
Yeah, and it really helps that we have an owner who is never like satisfied with the status quo. He's always trying to find the next great thing to do. He's trying to find the next market. He's trying to figure out what staffing do we need to make us successful. As soon as somebody gets to a point where they're just overwhelmed and they can't do their job well, it means that we need more people. And so we do have pretty much a full office here of accountants, front desk, ladies that answer the phone. We've got 3 people that answer the phone full time. Every once in a while, we have a 4th that comes in, like this time of year, because we have so many phone calls. So we just want to make sure that the back end of things are taken care of as well. It's one thing to be able to put in a landscape well. It's another thing to be able to get your billing out, your invoices, your vendors paid, get us paid, all of that as well. And customers communicated with. That's the number one reason that I think a lot of people go with us as well, is they say when you call or when we call, somebody answers the phone. If I'm busy and they call the office, they get it figured out. They can reach out to somebody else if they know I'm unavailable. So it's, a lot of companies in town, I actually get a lot of my sales because they say, I've called 3 companies. You're the only one that called me back. So I can't even compare apples to apples because I only got one to choose from. So
there you go. Well, I mean, but we hear that a lot, whether it be on the show or just out in the field. Like, people who respond to the clients, they're the ones that get the business because everybody's busy. We don't need to be trying to chase down someone to give our money to at the end of the day. Like, I just want someone to do it. And if I talk to I could call 5, I may only talk to 1. If that one seems like a great fit and answers all the questions, it looks professional and gives me confidence, then why do I need to keep searching?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me a little bit more about the owner. Since you started at the company 8 years ago, you've seen a lot of growth in that time, but what's it like working at Weller Brothers?
Yeah, it's great. It's actually, so Weller Brothers, it's actually 2 brothers that started. So I shouldn't say the owner, it's owners.
Owners.
Yep. And so Brent, he was the one who headed out to the Rochester location and got that going. Cole Weller is the president. He's in Sioux Falls. He's very, very involved with the industry. So he's got peer groups that he goes and talks to. He bounces ideas off. If he comes back, says, this is working in this market, this is working in this market. He doesn't really get on us too much as long as we're doing our job. If we're not getting back to customers or if he hears about it, that's probably the only time I've ever seen him fairly upset. So that is like the one thing that we pride ourselves on, is communication. So yeah, we've got that. And then he's also not shy on investing in the company. So it's not one of the owners that have 30-year-old Bobcats that barely start, or trucks that, you got to jump start every morning. All of our equipment is fairly new. We have, anytime that we say, hey, this would make our life easier, he says, what value would we get out of it? And then pretty much it's in our yard in the next week or 2. So that's really nice. And then you feel like you can always talk to him. And he just seems like such a good leader as far as like having answers for you, calming you down if you're upset. And he does that for everybody. It's not just the designers. He does it for the foreman. He does it for the front desk staff. So we have a really good org chart as far as like our owners, down to general managers, production managers, designers, foremen. So it really filters itself down. So he doesn't feel like he needs to handle everything. He just basically looks at the big picture and then lets us handle everything else. So
awesome. And you feel that truthfully.
Yeah.
Right. Just the way that you're saying it. It's one thing to say like, yeah, I trust my people to do their job, as another when the people are saying, yeah, I'm trusted to do my job.
Yeah.
Like, he's not micromanaging me. He's not in my stuff. He's just there to support me and remove obstacles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I want to go out golfing with a customer, no questions asked. It's like, yeah, that's great. That's what we want. We want you out there. We want you doing your job. He's not going to ask you, why are you at home right now? Why is your truck parked? It's not like that. It would only be if your truck's parked and you're not calling people back, then you would get a little upset, which there is an accountability there. But yeah, I mean, never over the top, I wouldn't say.
Okay, let's dive into that a little bit. I'm very curious on this standpoint. So to have that level of trust, you've been there 8 years now. So if you've been delivering for 8 years, it's a lot easier to say like, okay, I'm going golfing with this client and we're all good. But was it always that way from the beginning?
Yeah, it actually was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, my very first day there, he's like, I want you out there. I want you to be the face of our company. You're the person that's selling these landscapes to them. I don't want you in the field. Every once in a while, if I got to help, that's fine. But he wants me to stay in my lane. That's what he tells everybody, is to stay in your lane, get everyone rowing the boat in the same direction. If everyone's doing their job, things go well. When you're trying to do 10 people's job, it doesn't go that well. So it's focusing on what your task, your main task at hand. We help each other out. I'm not saying that we don't just help people when they need a hand, but we definitely know what our position in the company is. And if we're starting to kind of feel like we're doing 5 people's jobs, that's what I said. He'll go out and he'll find somebody to fill that void so that we can stay on the top of our game.
Very cool. So you're basically empowered and trusted to do your job from the beginning.
Yeah.
You're vetted through the hiring process, and then you're trained and onboarded. And then once you're ready to rock, you're ready to rock. Just go for it.
Yeah. We have, that's in the design side of things. So a lot of times, obviously, you got to have a little bit of experience to come here. So like I said, we've got an intern who's been landscaping for a few years, and he's in college right now going for landscape architecture. So we're going to train him in the field part-time. We're going to train him in the office part-time, kind of feel him out. We want to have him have that hands-on experience so he understands our process. He knows like our quality standards, all that kind of stuff, and is comfortable on the scale of jobs that we do. It's one thing to just be able to do paver patios, but once you get into pools and walls and fire pits and you got multiple subcontractors, there's a whole nother element to it.
A little more at stake and stuff.
Yeah. So that's on like the design side of things, or we have hired a couple guys that were designers at other companies. But then as far as like even the production side, obviously it's one thing to sell it. It's another thing to be able to get it in the ground and get it in the ground efficiently and have at a quality that we expect. So we have a foreman fast track program. So when a guy comes in, we know we do have a lot of guys that just want to come and work, and that's totally fine. We love that. Show up, get your paycheck, go home. We're okay with that. But there are guys that they want to take that next step in their career. They really think, I could run this job, and then eventually I could run multiple crews. So they can apply for our foreman fast track program. They get put on a specific crew that has a landscape trainer who's had a lot of years of experience. And so they come in, they got 2 years basically where we fast track them. We put them on projects that we feel like they'd be comfortable on. They work with the manager, but they also are on their own a lot. And then once we feel like they're at a point where they can run a job and we trust them, they get a set of keys, a pickup, an enclosed trailer with a skid loader, and that trailer's fully stocked up. So it's pretty sweet. And then they get some guys to work under them.
I love this. I'm it's on your website too, which I love too. Like you're always, you're always selling, like you said.
Yep.
Like your job is to always be selling, but like the company is always recruiting. Like it's all over the website, all these great reasons to come work at Weller Brothers.
Yeah.
But I really love that you have a defined program for it. So you see that you have potential, or you believe that you have potential. And it even says on the page, foreman fast track. You're a leader. Here's your chance to grow. There's a video, and then there's become a landscaper maintenance foreman. Looking for a career in landscaping. It sells you on the job, on the program, on the training, on the job experience that you'll get. There's a monthly breakfast celebration. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So, when we first started doing this, there was probably, 30 people in the room. Now we've got 5 rows of tables. There's people standing in back. It's pretty cool. The owner gets up there. We do talk a little bit about business, obviously. So talk about the numbers, talk about our vision. We go through 503s, which is kind of a funny thing. It wasn't even supposed to be a 503. It was supposed to be a 501. We just wanted a catchy name for it, and it came back and it was mislabeled, but we're like, we're running with it. So it's 503. So when somebody does good, you fill out a 503, you turn it in, and we talk about that. So we show pictures of, like I had one of my guys on my crew made some gifts for Mother's Day for one of our customers. She sent me this great text about how awesome our crews are and that. So he, you get noticed for the good things that you do. We do talk about some of the bad things. We don't call out anyone specifically, but we talk about our room for improvement. And then we try to pick one or two topics to talk to guys about that aren't even necessarily business related. It's personally related. So it's like financials or healthcare, stuff like that, where a lot of guys just aren't very well educated in those things. So we try to help them out and say, like, these are resources that you can use to manage your money. These are resources that you can use for your healthcare, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of our time to all get together. It's busy all year round around here, whether we're pushing snow or we're putting landscapes in. So it's nice to calm down for an hour. Everyone gets to see each other. Yeah, and just see how the company's growing. And then we do talk about work anniversaries. So we celebrate when people have been there 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. Personal things that are going on. So if people have babies, we throw that up on the big screen. Yeah, so everyone kind of gets to see the personal side of what's going on, and it's not just another employee next to you. So
that sounds awesome. How long have you guys been doing that?
Since we went to our new location, so it's probably been 3 or 4 years now that we've been doing that. Yeah, and I mean the monthly breakfasts are one thing.
Yeah,
everyone loves a free breakfast in the morning,
yeah,
but
sure.
We do
the best meal of the day.
Yeah, exactly. We do a fiesta one time a year, where after work everyone gets there. We get food trucks come in, play beanbag tournaments. That's a big competition. 2 years running champ right here. Toot my own horn. We have a Weller Brothers golf outing. That is the number one thing that everyone looks forward to every year. Probably not something to brag about. We did set the record for the most drink tickets ever used at a golf outing at one of the public golf courses. So it definitely gets a little rowdy, and a little competitive, I must add.
Yeah.
So yeah, we try to do a lot of stuff like that. So we do a Thunder Road outing. Actually, we got that in a couple weeks, which is like a little mini golf course and go-kart track and stuff. So all the families or not all the families, anyone that wants to come out and play some mini golf and drive some go-karts and play laser tag, that's all paid for by the company. So yeah.
So what's the frequency of, like you said, like these last three are annual things, but like how often is there something going on? There's the monthly breakfast. That's monthly. I get it. But what about these other things?
Yeah. I mean, we do the spring kickoffs. So that's where everyone gets together, and we do stations with training on how to properly load equipment on trailers, how to use our wash bay properly, so we're not burning that stuff up, go through the inventory room. I mean, so that's kind of more of a production side of things. And that's also, so those are company-wide things, but we do push our managers and designers to do smaller outings as well. So the production manager takes the guys out for dinner and buys them some drinks and just talks about how things are going. Because sometimes when you get in the rut of the season, you kind of just feel down and you feel like all you're doing is working. So it is nice to just decompress, vent a little. And we're fine with that. Get some stuff off your shoulders. And then it's kind of like once that happens, you kind of get a little breath of fresh air and you feel like you can keep going. But I know our admin staff will go out to job sites and deliver sandwiches and Gatorades a couple times, 2-3 times a summer, pizza to the job sites. So yeah.
You guys hiring?
Yeah, always.
This episode is brought to you by Hardscaper.com. The Hardscaper mission is to empower industry professionals with the skills, inspiration, and confidence they need to take their businesses to new heights. Struggling with training programs for your team? Looking for helpful tips to build a better company? Subscribe today to gain access to hours of interactive on-demand Hardscape construction and business courses for free. Check out hardscaper.com. That was awesome. No, for real though, like, you know, this season is all about the Hardscaper high five, and that first one, take care of your people. Like you guys are like ding, 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 like way prioritizing that, taking care of the people, building a strong culture. Making sure that you're building those relationships and, you know, even the things that you're doing, like those celebrations, whether it's the 503s or it's the work anniversaries or someone having a baby or any of these things, like you're celebrating good things, you're celebrating wins publicly. And you're also careful that when there are negative things, like you said, they're not, you're not pointing the person out. Like you're addressing the situation, but you're criticizing or you're coaching or you're correcting people's actions or behavior privately. which is
Yes.
another important thing. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment and blast someone in front of their peers, but that doesn't build a lot of confidence for them moving forward.
Correct. Yeah.
So there's a lot of good things there. If we talk about the impact that has on retention of people and their evolution within the company, like we've already established, the company is growing. It sounds like a lot of fun to work there.
Mm-hmm.
You do have some things like the Foreman Fast Track program, but typically, how long do people stay with the company? And do you feel that all of this stuff plays a role in it?
Yeah, I think people definitely do stay with the company quite a while, especially when they're a good fit. So I don't want to say like anytime that you come here, you can do anything you want, and it's just this great place to work, and you don't have to get your job done. We do have quite a bit of accountability as far as our production managers. We do track analytics as far as job performance, even crew performance. How many people were you able to keep on your crew throughout a season? Why does one particular person have 15 people work under them a summer? Obviously, we need to address that. And, just with like landscapes, when you sell the easiest sell for a landscape is a referral. Because you get the word of mouth on what went well. And then it seems like you get that project because they trust you on that. We also do that on the employment side. So we have a $2,000 referral bonus. So if you have somebody that wants to come work for us, it's $2,000 that's spread out over a year. So you get $400 after 60 days, $600 after 6 months, then you get $1,000 check on your paycheck after they've been there a year. So we give out quite a few of those. I would say 8 to 10 of those a year. And so it's like when there's somebody that has a buddy that isn't very happy with where he's at, he said that they come over, and it just seems like they're already bought in to it, and you get guys that already know each other, so it's a pretty well-rounded.
You get that chemistry going.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, a lot of my foremen have been here we had a Foreman Fast Track guy who came through, and he's on his second season. There's 2 of them actually that went through the Foreman Fast Track, so they're on their second full season running their own jobs. But the rest of them have been there for 4 or 5 years. And so when you get a foreman that's bought in that well to all of our processes, it's tough
everything gets easier, man.
Yep, exactly. I mean, it's tough to leave and try to find something better, or, if it's just for the money, I don't think that goes very far. So
do you find that, on that topic of money, do you find that all this other stuff that we've talked about kind of helps to mitigate that a little bit? Like, it's not just about the money because there's so much more value. You have the free breakfast, you have all this fun stuff, you have these relationships, you have these career development opportunities, you're always learning, you're sharing the vision of the company and what's happening and where we're going. So like there's a long-term picture of the road ahead, and you're sharing even things for like, life resources like financial advice and planning advice and all that kind of stuff. Does that help overcome they're offering me $1 more an hour?
Yeah, it really does. All of our foremen get to drive their pickups home every single day. So you basically get a company vehicle, cell phone reimbursement, all of these things that not a lot of other companies will offer you. And then not only that, but we try to give people visions of where they're going to go in their career, not just, so like if a foreman wants to move up, one of our foremen, he was a foreman, now he's our training manager, so he's not as much in the field. Another one of our foremen actually left. One of my foremen a few years ago went to a different company, out of the industry, was ready to give it up. He came back, called us last fall and said, I just miss it. I still follow you guys on Facebook. I feel like I'm missing out. So he's actually back with us now. He's our enhancement manager, so he oversees some of our smaller crews and stuff like that. Our production manager, he started as a crew guy, moved up to a foreman. Now he's running the landscape division as far as the production side goes. So there's room for advancement, and that's what we really try to push to these guys, is that it's not just a construction job the rest of your life. There is a career here.
Yeah. That honestly, I'm so impressed listening to the things that you're telling me, because it's like I guess that's the advantage of building out that structure, like you said, that organizational structure where like there's all these people and they specialize in their specific domains, and that's what they're responsible for, and they're held accountable to deliver results. But you can see the level of planning and forethought, because just to have these ideas, like lots of people have, like, yeah, we should do this thing, we should do it, but like to sustain that and to structure it and to have it where it's a consistent element of the business, that's a whole other thing. And that's what you guys have. And that's what I hear it just in the tone of your voice and how excited and how much like you light up talking about some of these things, especially the golf tournament.
Yeah.
But like these are examples of like how you can build an awesome culture that have people stick around. And then you combine that with the designs that you guys do and the intelligence that you guys apply to like, okay, well, this is the type of market that we're trying to target. This is the type of client that we want to do business with. You have, like you were telling me before we got started here, you have a marketing manager that focuses on the brand and makes sure that like you guys are super present on Facebook to the point where people in the community look at you guys, like they know who you are, not as a company. They know the people in the company because there's a story being told there. You're very active on social media. The website looks great. The logo looks great. The branding looks great. If all the foremen get to take the trucks home, well, that means those vehicles are going out into the community as well. And these are people who have upward mobility. So, the trucks aren't going into neighborhoods where, these people are in dead end jobs and they can't, they're not your market. Like your foremen are professionals and they're treated as professionals. And you guys give them the opportunity to grow and advance their careers as well. It's not just the office people that get the nice perks. It's everybody. And that's the way to do it, man, because like you need everybody to make the company run.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like it. In terms of that brand, how would you describe Weller Brothers? If you, let's say our audience is a potential customer and we've never heard of Weller Brothers before, what would you say?
I would say we're probably, if not I would say we are the most professional company as far as start to finish, from the time that we answer your phone call, we collect your information, a designer comes out, meets with you, or an account manager on the maintenance side, because that is about almost half of our company is taking care of people's yards for them. And so what we want to, we think of ourselves as a one-stop shop. We come in, we do the work for you initially, but then once that's done, how are you going to care for this project afterwards? Because we do like to go back to our projects 5 years down the road and it still looks great. So I would say a vast majority of our landscape customers end up transitioning into maintenance customers as well, where we're mowing the yard, we're fertilizing it, we're doing horticulture services in the landscape beds. So when I go to people's houses and I say, who's mowing your yard? Oh, I got this guy. Who's taking care of that tree? I got this guy. I said, why don't we just put this all under one umbrella? You got one or two people you can call anytime you got an issue. And behind that, you've got a huge staff of people that will take care of this for you. And so I think that's really our brand, is that we've tried to think of ourselves as not just a landscape company, but landscape professionals that just take care of everything that you've got going on outside of your house.
Not just a landscape company, but landscape professionals. And that one-stop shop, I mean, that's like design, build, maintain, enhance.
Yep, exactly.
What more do you need?
Right.
It's literally everything.
Yeah. And a lot of our customers don't have a lot of time on the weekends to be wheelbarrowing mulch or deadheading roses. So that's where we come in.
Yeah, no, thank you. What else do you want to say?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really great place to work. It's a growing company. It seems like we're big, but I don't even think we've tapped into our potential. As we continue to grow, we're going to keep finding our flaws and we're going to try to fix them. We're going to try to expand and, like I said, into at least one more market, probably maybe even more. I mean, we're all young. My owners are only 1 year older than me and 2 or 3 years older than me. So we're not even in our 40s yet. So
there you go.
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. We just hope that we can inspire some other companies around us to try to take that next step. because competition is good. As much as I like to win every single bid that I give out, it is good to have competition, especially in our market where we're trying to educate people that spending a small fortune in your backyard isn't just a waste of money. It's an investment in your life, your lifestyle, your family's lives. They get to grow up in the backyard that is safe and fun, and keep trying to push the envelope here. So
I want to go back on something you just said. That's very uncommon. You said you want to see the companies around you grow and elevate as well, and you want to help contribute to that. Why is that important? Why would you want to help your competitors?
Because competition's good. It drives the market up. If you get a bunch of companies out there lowballing you, people are just going to think I can just go find somebody cheaper. But if you get 3 or 4 or 5 other companies that are out there showing other people around what the potential is in their backyard, it gets people thinking. Sioux Falls is growing pretty rapidly. Rochester's growing rapidly. So we can't do every single landscape, but we would like the ones that we don't get to be as cool as ours, so that it doesn't make it seem like it's a crazy thing to spend that much in your backyard. They're like, well, my neighbor did it. That neighbor did it. They're looking around. They might not even know who did those landscapes, but if they look sweet, they're going to go online. They're going to research. They're probably going to find us. And if we know we can, or if they know we can bring that yard or that vision into their lives, we're probably going to get that project. And if not, I hope it's one of my buddies that works for another company that gets it. So,
dude, I love that attitude. It's an attitude of abundance. There's more than enough for everyone.
Yep.
So let's just raise the bar for everyone.
Yeah.
Let's all take advantage of this, and the confidence that you have that, you know what, even if everyone gets better, we're still going to be the top guns, and we're still going to be leaders in this market.
Yeah.
And whatever market we go into. So let's go and let's just rise the whole thing up. I love that attitude. That's awesome. Chad, people want to reach out to a lot of the people we have on the show, ask questions, get advice. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
I would say, if you, rather than me just like spitting out my email or phone number online, or on
it's probably not a good idea. Yeah.
Visit our website, go to our people. You can find my bio on my people. You can find my owner's bio on there. Reach out to the owner if you're out there and you're a business owner and you think, God, I'm just stuck. I can't figure out. I'm wearing too many hats. I need somebody to talk to. I think Cole would be more than happy to try to elevate you and give you some advice, point you in a direction on where other resources you can use as far as other big landscape companies around, websites, podcasts, all that kind of stuff. Reach out to us. Reach out to our marketing manager if you want some advice on how to get your social media boosted up a little bit. We're willing to help. We'd love to, if somebody wants to come visit, we'd be more than happy to walk them around and kind of show them what we're up to. So,
yeah, I'm looking on the on that page right now. Like, everybody's on here.
Yeah,
everybody.
There was like 6 people on there when I started.
Yeah, no, I'm scrolling. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show. This has been super fun. And man, I got 4 pages of notes again. So another great one.
I'd be happy to be on
really
again.
Appreciate the time and really appreciate the openness and that willingness to just put it all out there and help. And you guys clearly have a great company culture. And congratulations to you and Brent and Cole and everyone else at Weller Brothers. What an amazing company.
Yeah.
You guys are doing amazing stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to keep growing. So,
yes, sir. Let's keep going. That's it for another episode of the Hardscape Growth Show. Until next time, everyone, work hard, pave harder, and we'll see you next week. You've been listening to Hardscape Growth, a podcast for hungry professionals who want to grow their businesses and level up. Each episode is all about taking the next step in running your business, so make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on your favorite podcast player. And if you're finding this information to be useful, help others in your position discover us by giving us a star rating and leaving a comment. We'll see you next week.